I need to let you know why I do what I do. Now, I guess a lot of you are saying, well, what do you do? Let me fill you in. Of course, I do a podcast. If you weren't aware, I have a podcast. It's called Discover You. If you want to find that podcast, you can go to iTunes, you can go to Google Podcast, you can go to Stitcher, you can go to Spotify. I've got 11 platforms that it's on. The easiest way to find it is to go discoveryou-book.com, discoveryou-book.com, go to the media tab, and I've got the podcast embedded there. Now, the podcast, starting in April, I'm starting season 2, my second season, and it's going to be kind of a revamped. It's re-imaged. I've got a new intro and new outro, new voice work, and I've done some interviews. Now already have 3, as of this date, I've got 3 awesome interviews already set up, already scheduled, ready to go. They're going to begin the first Tuesday in April, and you're going to want to hear those interviews. So I'm going to more of an interview format, and then mixing in some of just my thoughts on different things and things like that. Also, as you can tell, this video is going to be, I'm kind of going to start exploring my YouTube channel, start using my YouTube channel more. I'm going to try to start video recording when I record podcasts so that I can have them both on video and on the audio. But I'm going to try to do some interviews on video. I'm going to do some other things. I'm going to leave it open because I want to be creative. So this YouTube channel, if you'll subscribe to it too, that way you'll get notified whenever I post anything new on it, then we can do that. So I'm doing podcast and the YouTube channel, and then I'm writing. I'm writing another book. As some of you may know, I've released one book called Discover You. Again, you can find it at the discoveryou-book.com. There's a link that will take you to Amazon. You can order the book, $9.99. It's well worth the price. It is invaluable information. It's basically what I started my podcast on. Currently, we're finishing up, going back through the motivational gifts that are discussed in the book, but it's something that can be life-altering if you will let it. So order the book. $10 is cheap. Order it, and it'll help you out. But I'm writing another book right now. Actually, I've got 3 in the works, but I'm working on one specifically, and so I'll be getting it done, getting it released. I'm trying to have it out in June. I want to try to have it out in June. So I'm still writing right now, and I've got to go through the editing process and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so I'm writing. And then I'm also speaking. I'm speaking at churches mostly right now. And so, I go and I preach at services, but I'm trying to start speaking at conferences and those sort of things, and at workshops, to do some workshops. I want to do workshops with the Discover You material because I really feel like this is something that everybody needs to know. Now, the reason why I'm doing all this, the reason why I'm following this path is because I learned what my gifts are. I learned what my motivations were. I learned where my talent lies. If you'll look in the book, in the Discover You book, my number one motivation is teaching. I love teaching. Basically, I'm a knowledge junkie, and then once I learn something, I want to share it with people. I want to help people. When I learn something brand new, the first thing I think about is who can benefit from this information. And so I'm always sharing information. My number 2 motivational gift is perceiving. That means I can see things that other people don't see. I can see the right and the wrong. One of the downfalls is I can always see what's wrong in something. We're watching a show or something. Sharon and I will watch a movie or a show or something, and I'll just point out all the inconsistencies. I've just got this vision that I can see those kind of things. But it's also kind of a futuristic kind of thing. I'm always forward-looking. I'm very future-oriented. I'm looking towards the future, and I have this kind of perception thing. Discernment is a word that we use. In other words, I can kind of tell when there's something at play, and so I have that gift. Number 3 is my leadership. Leadership is another one. Basically, it's just I'm going to find a way to get something done. and I'll organize people around it, I'll resource it, and that sort of thing. So I've got the leadership. And my number 4, I'm not going to discuss all 7, but my number 4, which is another one of my main deal, is serving. I love to serve people. I love to help people. So that's the giftings, the reason why I want to do it. But then I want to discuss my passion. I am very passionate about helping people discover who they are. And I'm so consumed with that. I really believe that's why I am put on this earth, because of the fact that I've learned and discovered about myself, and I've learned and discovered about other people, and I believe with all my heart that that's what I'm here for, is to help people discover who they are through various means, whether it be through the teaching of the book, Discover You, or other things. See, the podcast, the reason I'm doing interviews is I want you to hear these people's story, their life story, and I'll try to interject into each story how they became who they are, the things that led them to be who they are. And this way you can learn more about yourself. Sometimes you can identify with someone's story, whereas just a teaching won't help. And so that's why I'm doing the interviews. And I'm just telling you right now, I'm so pumped about these interviews. They are phenomenal, and you've got to listen to them. Please, please, please go subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss them. And it's going to be exciting. But I'm a creative. I love to create. I love being in front of this camera. I love being behind a microphone. I love creating. I don't draw well. But I love creating things, and I love making something that is beautiful. What I believe is there's greatness inside everyone. I have come to understand that there is greatness inside of everyone, and I want to see it pulled out of them. I want to help draw it out of them. That's why I do what I do, because greatness can be defined in multiple ways. Greatness can be defined as you're a great mother, or you're a great doctor, you're a great, accountant, you're a great janitor, you're a great whatever. There is greatness inside of everyone. There is significance inside of everyone. Now see, when I was younger, I would tell my mom, out of desperation, I have got to be somebody. I've got to be somebody. And that was my uneducated, immature way of saying, I sense significance inside of me. I sense greatness inside of me. Now, will I ever be on stage speaking to tens and hundreds of thousands of people? Oh, Lord, please let me. I want to. I love that. I watch video of Joel Osteen in front of his church with 18,000 people, and I long to be on that stage because I want to impart to so many people. It energizes me to do that. But will I ever make that? That's not my call. I'm going to do what I'm called to do and let God take care of it. But I'm passionate. I'm passionate about helping people understand you are not born to just suck air. You're not born to just exist. Existence is immoral to me. Just existing is immoral. We should live our life to the fullest. And I'm going to go to the scripture in the book of St. John, chapter 10, verse 10. This is Jesus speaking. He said, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. To steal, kill, and destroy. But then he said, but I am come that they, speaking about us, might have life, but he didn't stop there, might have life to the full, have abundant life. Average is such a dirty word. Living an average, dull life is such a dirty word. I believe everyone should live a life that is full of energy, full of passion. Now, will you be doing cartwheels all the time? No. I'm talking about when you're driven by what you are designed to do. That's how you live your life. See, while I'm doing this, to let you know, while I'm doing this, I'm just excited. My insides are churning. I'm excited because this is what I do. This is what I am created to do. That's why I do it. Am I an expert at everything? Oh, Lord, no, I'm not an expert at hardly anything. But I can tell you my experience. That's what's important. I want to tell you my experience, and I want to share other people's experience. And then I learn from their experiences, and I share with you. If you don't hear them interviewed by me, if I learn something from someone, I'm going to share it, because I feel like if I know something, somebody else needs to know it, because it's going to benefit them as much as it does me. How many of you have ever gone to a great restaurant and sitting there thinking, I've got to tell my friends about this? It's an experience that you want them to have. For Christmas, we went to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra concert. Oh my goodness. I'd never been to one, but I did it because Sharon loves Christmas, and we never get to do anything special for Christmas because we're so consumed with what's going on with her work and things like that. But we went, and it was like, this is the way I described it. It was like a winter tent revival broke out in a heavy metal show. It's a weird, but it was such an awesome experience. That's why I shared so much on Facebook about it. I wanted everyone to experience it. So that's why I do what I do, because I'm passionate about this. I hope you can read that in my voice, can sense that in my actions, because this is why I do what I do. This is why I'm focused on doing what I do. I'm not going to do anything else that's going to detract from this. I have decided that I'm not going to do something just because it makes sense financially or it makes sense logically. I'm doing something because I'm passionate about it, and I know this is what I'm called to do. What will happen was when I follow what God has gifted me to do. Now, may not be as passionate about everything that is involved in this. Like when I get ready to edit this video, when you see it, it'll be edited and that sort of thing, be trimmed up. I like doing that, but I'm okay if I do, if I don't. The podcast, I enjoy editing that, putting that together, but I'd rather be creating content. I'd rather be coming up with something else. I'd rather be doing some research. So there are things involved in when you follow your dreams and your passions and your callings. Let's just go that, follow your calling and your giftings. And so when you do that, then it'll make way for you. The scripture says a man's gift will make room for him. A man's gift will make room. I don't have to try to force things to happen. I don't try to make things happen. I'm try to be strategic. I try to look for opportunities. I try to seek out information, try to seek out people that can help me, seek out resources, but I'm going to follow this. This is what I'm going to do. And so that's why I do it. And that's why when I put it on Facebook, I post about my podcast, I want you to experience it, because it's something that really excited me. I don't just put stuff out just to say I put something out. I'm not going to put anything out unless it did something for me, unless it truly spoke to me. There's a podcast coming out the next to last week of this month. After we finish, the first 2 weeks are going to be the last 2 motivational gifts, and then the third week is going to be the 4 stages of rejection. This is something that I learned firsthand, the 4 stages of rejection. Don't miss that podcast, because it is something that will help you make it through. Everybody's going to be rejected. You're going to experience rejection. How you make it out of it is what you do about it is how you're going to make it out of it. But anyway, that's the third week. So be sure and subscribe to the podcast. It's exciting. I'm looking forward to getting my new book out. I'm not going to share with you the title of it right now, but it's something that I feel like a lot of people experience. It's out of my experiences. I just kind of share. That's how I preach. That's how I minister. It's what God's dealing with me at the time. That's what I preach, because that's what I know. That's what's fresh. That's what is in my heart and in my spirit, and that's what I share. And so I want to be able to help everyone I can. And if what I share doesn't help you, that's fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings that some things that I share doesn't help you. But if you will share it with someone you think it might help, that will forward what God's called me to do. That will help in what God's called me to do. Now, with the YouTube channel, I've got some ideas. Whether I do them or not, I don't know, because my wife might get embarrassed. But I was a fine arts major in college, and I love acting. So let's just leave that at there. But I want to do some cool things with the YouTube channel and make that exciting, make that interesting. Try not to be too goofy, but this is what I do. I wanted to get on here and just on a face-to-face, well, I face to a camera and you look at the screen, but we're face-to-face virtually, and let you know why I'm doing what I do. And those that don't know what I do, this is what I do. I've got the podcast, this YouTube channel that you're watching on. I am writing. I'm writing another book. I've got 3 books in the works, but I'm writing one particular that I'm trying to get out by at least June. And then I'm also trying to do a lot of speaking. That's where I love to do. I love to get out and do speaking engagements. And right now it's church, preaching at churches. I fill in for pastors because I'm a pastor's kid. I was a pastor. Pastors feel safe with me in their pulpit, and I'm not going to try to steal their congregation. I just want to go in and help. That's my serving thing. And so I fill in for pastors when they have to be out of the pulpit. That's what I do. I help serve. But I want to do conferences. I want to do workshops. That's where I see myself. I have a vision. I'll sit down almost daily, and I'll sit down and I'll imagine myself standing in front of 1,500 to 2,000 people in some huge grand ballroom, speaking to people about what God has placed in my heart, what I'm passionate about, and changing lives. Not for my ego, not so I can say, look what I did, but I want people's life I want people to experience what I'm experiencing in my life. Oh my goodness, if you could just feel the way I feel about what you're doing with your life. If you don't feel excited about what you're doing with your life, please, please, please try to find what does. And I'm self-serving, but that book, Discover You, is going to help you because each chapter, each motivational gift has careers, activities, and things that go along with each one of those. And so you look at the combination of your motivational gifts and look at all the deals, and it gives you some indication. Not that you have to do any of those things, but it'll prompt your mind. It'll give you a little nudge in a certain direction. Try things, experience things. So I'm sorry I got worked up. No, I'm not sorry. I get worked up because I'm excited about what I get to do. And truthfully, honestly, I'm not making a living at it yet. But Sharon and I are sacrificing so that we can do this, so I can pursue what I've been called to do, what I've been given to do. She is supporting me 120,000%. She is on board and she's helping me. She's going with me. She's been my biggest cheerleader. But it's just, if you could feel what I feel, I'm trying to tell you, if you could feel what I feel right now, you need to feel that in whatever you do. This is what I do. This is what I love. I love being creative. I love sharing information. I love helping people. I love doing all this stuff. I love media. I love arts. I love speaking. It's just what I'm made to do. I'm a communicator, and sometimes I'm not that great at it, but I'm working on it. That's why I got the John Maxwell certification to go through the speaker training and working on that. I videotape every time I speak. And most of the time I post them on the YouTube channel, which there are several sermons and stuff like that on there. You can watch those if you want to, but it's for me to see what I look like so I can see. Like one thing I know, I use my hands way too much. Oh my goodness, way too much. So I have to kind of keep them, try to focus on keeping them. Well, when I get excited, I can't keep them still. So I know that's one thing I need to work on. See, I'm just trying to give you some ideas. And I know this has been a long video. I can't see the timer, but I know it's been too long of a video, and I hope you stay with me this long. Bottom line is do what you love to do. Do what you're gifted to do. Now, see, some people say follow your passions. Well, if your passion is something that's not very practical, maybe you do it in conjunction with something else. Maybe something will open up. Start small. Start somewhere. I'm 55 and I'll be 56 in a couple of months, and I've got to pursue what I'm called to do. I've got to pursue it. I've got more life behind me than I do ahead of me. God willing, I live another 30 years or 40 years. But I want to do what I'm gifted to do the rest of my life. I don't ever see retiring, because how do you retire from being yourself? How do you retire from being who you are? If you're working a job that's just paying bills and just making do and just supplying for your family, but it's not really what you are gifted to do or what you're called to do, yeah, you'd retire from that thing. You'd drop that in a heartbeat. I can't imagine not doing this. I can't imagine not teaching. I can't imagine not speaking. I can't imagine. I mean, who knows, there may come a time when I can't. But until then, I'm going to do it as much as I possibly can. That's why you guys get to see me and hear me, because this is my venue. This is the medium where I get to speak. Right now, I don't get to get on very many platforms, but that's coming. There will come a time, and then you're going to see me on those platforms, because I'm going to be sure it's on my YouTube channel. So you can see where I started and where I've come from, and you can see where I've gone. Now see, this is a process. I'm not telling you it's glamorous. I'm not telling you everything I do is glamorous, because it's not. If you could see the room that I'm in, it's not glamorous at all, but it is functional, and that's what I'm doing. I'm doing what's functional, doing what I can to get it done. I've rambled way too long, and I apologize for that, but guys, I appreciate you watching it. If you've watched all the way to the end, I appreciate that.